It's podcast time. Hey, everybody. It's Almost Agreement. AlmostAgreement@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Go to the website, almostagreement.com. Check out what we got going there. April 14th, if you haven't marked your calendar already, the confirmations are in. All candidates have signed off and said that they approve of my putting this together, and they will be there. So if they're not there, then they lied to me, so that means they lied to you too, I guess. Almost Agreement, AlmostAgreement@gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, website, as I mentioned, on your favorite podcast provider. Like, friend, shallow, follow, text us to your friends. Do what you can do to support the show. And we're going to keep doing what we're going to do, and we got some fun biz going on. This mayor's race is going to be hot. And we're going to talk about it. So, anyway, intro stuff, and we'll find out what's new in Sam's world, because he came in the room excited about to tell me something. So we'll see here in just a second. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Oh, what's new with you? I swear, you walked in the door and said, I can't wait to tell you the story about this thing.
Then I was like, it's opposite day.
And I was like, man, just wait and let me get the intro out of the way so you can tell me the story, because it's more fun if I react live to it than, you tell me about it and then I get to think about it for a little bit and then I got a more thoughtful response. And that's no fun.
Yeah. You didn't hear me say it was opposite day?
I mean, he set me up to look a fool.
Burned.
Look a fool. The story of the week that has made me the happiest is this Afro Man story is fantastic. How much have you kept up with the saga of the Afro Man?
I've just seen the headlines. I vaguely remember the story when it came out.
I don't recall the original. I just recall that it was hearing some of the video from the hearings started coming out, and that's when the shit got crazy.
What did they initially raid him for?
Something about my understanding of it was, quote, some crackhead said he was stealing kids.
So they busted into his house, and he made a music video kind of making fun of them breaking into the house, or was there like a story that he kind of made fun of?
Yeah, basically, they came in, they kicked in his door and raided the house, and I don't think he was there at the time, but they went and they cut they cut he had some cameras in his house, they cut the lines on his cameras in his house. Apparently, before they cut the cameras, one of the guys looked very longingly at a lemon pound cake that was on his counter, and so one of his spoof songs is about this dude broke into my house to steal my lemon pound cake.
Okay.
And they confiscated some of his things, including some of his cash, and to which they didn't find any evidence of him kidnapping children, I guess, which was the initial cause for the event. Apparently, in some of the other things that people...
This was him suing them, or
this is
they sort of taken him to trial, and this was a countersuit?
It never went anywhere. There was no case.
Oh, they never filed any charges?
Yeah, there was no case that ever actually came to be, and so he was pissed off because they broke my shit and held a gun in my face and in my kid's face. Apparently, him and the family pulled up while they were in the house. And they're they had, they were rifling through my stuff, going through my house for no reason. Dude's trying to fuck my lemon pound cake. They cut up my security system that I paid good money to have installed, and it was not cheap. And so he took a bunch of that security footage, the security that it did it as part of his videos, making fun of him and stuff like that. And then the cops personally sued him for defamation.
Also, can you accept my prayer?
He was going to eat their pound cake?
And so, do it?
For saying he was going to eat their pound cake?
I mean, that was probably one of the more mild of the songs that he did, that he created out of this
multiple
episode.
Songs.
Oh, yeah. It was multiple songs, numbers of videos. Great moment of him when he was on the stand. And I don't know if it was his lawyer or the other lawyer that was doing the question at the time. I think it was the other lawyer, because the line of questioning was kind of leading towards this idea of a lot of people listen to you, and when they hear you, they're going to believe that, because one of them, apparently there was a lady cop, and apparently he was talking about the lady cop stole his wife and ate her out and all this stuff, got this real, pretty graphic lesbian scene that he spelled out with his lady cop or whatever. And so, yeah, so he did a bunch of different videos, went really hard at him, and it was a defamation lawsuit from the officers against him. To which he's like, I'm the victim here, people.
Doesn't that fall under satire as well?
I mean, yes. You know, it's like, I mean, you know, like, what is he known for? Like, what is he most normal prior to this event? What does anybody know him from?
Because I got high.
Right. Which, if I understand the history of that song correctly, it was actually written as, like, even though he is a stoner, a pretty well-known stoner, it was kind of written making fun of some of that stoner stereotyping.
Right.
Like, that was the point. He was making fun of it. It's like, no, I'm not this worthless of a human being.
Yeah. I was going to do something, but then I got high.
And so, anyway, and so like he gets up there, like they're this lawyer's whichever one of the lawyers, like I said, I think it's the other lawyer that was asked this line of questioning, because it was all about his numbers, like how many followers he had on Facebook and how many TikTok followers and how many people subscribed to his YouTube channel, and Afroman made a couple of occasions to be like, well, they're going up. I hadn't looked in a while, but then in the last couple of weeks they've been going up because of you guys. Like I called him out, he's like. Nailed it, guys.
Make me more popular. Appreciate that.
You nailed it. So, it's a win for it's a win. It's a hope. It gives me some hope that there is some decency left in this country.
So just case dismissed.
Yeah, fully dismissed. And you know, like as far as I know, at least as far like in some of the interviews from him post, he's like, I'm not going to sue that. I didn't sue them. He's like, realistically, it should be me suing you guys.
Right.
You know, for the damages to my house and stuff like that you did on a really just weak ass claim. Like the claim was stupid. It was some like local junkie that you'd busted. Like this was hearsay at best. I don't know this part for sure, but it seemed to be like it was some dude that got busted for like possession, and was like, well, I'll give you my dealer or something if you don't throw me in jail. Right. I'll give you something big and important.
I'll give you Afroman.
Yeah, I'll give you something big. There's also there's a couple of inferences that he's had a run-in with this police. I mean, it's his home, but he's had multiple run-ins with the police locally for just different stuff, and him being kind of antagonistic to the locals. And so there was some level of this.
California?
This was personal. Ohio.
Ah.
But anyway, like I said, it gives me hope for society at large that is correct. I mean, and again, we've talked about like what the right to privacy conversation is with video footage and stuff like that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say if you're in my home and my camera picks you up, especially if you're in my home uninvited, you have no right to fucking privacy.
Right.
Like zero. Like nil. Like that
I presume they had some kind of warrant.
Yes, I guess. But I don't know. I'd still argue that warrant doesn't protect them from that.
True.
You know. I wouldn't think it would. It wouldn't make, you know. It's like, okay,
quote,
you have a
quote,
warrant.
gives them the right to be there. Outside of that, right.
But you're still, you know, you're still breaking into the house. So in more like news, I suppose. Although that's just, like I said, I wanted to start the episode with something hopeful, something positive.
Yeah.
Didn't want to spend the whole episode just griping about the world in general. Had some local activity. I had a fun trip to Beer Board this week and spent an hour of my life for no reason other than I legally had to do it, to do what I needed to do. Like, it's not the smartest process. I'm not trying to be super hateful here. It's just not a very smart process. It's literally fill out this big packet of stuff, get these different things checked off, do this checklist, and then come appear before the Beer Board, to which they say, hey, person, you're here for the Beer Board? Yes. And then they turn to the KPD officer, the inspections officer, and she says, no prior issues. Basically, they go through, one of the requirements is a background check, and so there's nothing on my background check that would cause any question on whether or not I should or should not have a beer permit. And then it goes to this guy, Mark, who is out of the business tax office, he's the guy that just he builds the packets for everybody. He checks off all the boxes on all the paperwork and make sure you turn everything in. Right. And then they go to him and he says, all paperwork's completed. And then one random beer board member, city councilor, will say, I move to permit this beer permit, and then somebody will second it, and then they vote, and that's it. It's like, it's, like...
You think it should just be online?
I'm not saying it should just be online, but like the required appearance thing, it's like, it cost me $10 in parking. And
validate?
And an hour and a half of my life of sitting around. Like, because one of the things, too, they also hold us hostage for the duration, because I was the second person to go, and I had to wait till the end of the beer board meeting because they don't give you your permit until the meeting's over. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to pick up your permit like you could just leave, I guess. You can come back down at a different time and go to the tax office and get your permit.
Right.
But if you want to pick up your permit, you got to wait till the end of the meeting. And then Amelia put very nicely because the one before me was Rossini or Dogwood Arts. I'm sorry, it was Dogwood Arts, and they had 3 different permits that they were getting. And one of the people on the beer board asked, like, just give us a quick rundown of Dogwood Arts for this year. And so it was just kind of like a little mini pitch they got to do, and it was on the CTV, and the 17 people that were there for the beer board meeting plus the board got to hear a little bit of a pitch, and they say, thank you, you're approved. And then she goes and sits back down, and they call me up, and I had 2 different ones, but mainly it's the Hollywood one. And they're like, yeah, we're good. It's like, okay, cool. And so I go and sit back down, and they finish the permit portion, and they go into the mean part where it's people that have had violations and stuff like that it's like a semi-hearing, it's like a pre-hearing. Basically, the beer board has the option to be like, hey, fix this problem, and we're cool, or, hey, we've talked about this, you need to go, and then they send you to a hearing officer, which is a whole different process but that's step 1 of the process of revoking your beer permit.
They don't do suspensions.
No, they can. They can from there. I'm not exactly sure when and where that kind of stuff comes in, but so there's a couple people on that list, and then there's a new process that my friend, District 4 Lauren Ryder, had put in place when she was board chair before she left city council. Which one of the things you have to do to keep a beer permit is you have to go to this CAS class. Somebody has to go to the CAS class once a year. And so when Lauren was chair, she noticed that there were many businesses that had their beer permits. There were theoretically valid beer permits, but they hadn't been to the class in 2, 3, 4 years. And so she started a thing where they were like, hey, you haven't been, like, it was a certified letter. And it went through KBD inspections and stuff like that to the point where the inspections officer would go out and serve a letter and say, hey, this is serious, and give them the letter. And part of that letter was either get it fixed or come to this meeting. And so there were like 10 businesses that didn't get it fixed that were on the meeting, and like the first 3 of them nobody showed up for, and then they just assigned them to a hearing officer, and then they're going to go through the process. And which if you like to buy your beer at Dollar General, heads up, you might be losing it.
Whoa. So the other night they had a sign up outside that said they now deliver. I was like, that's crazy.
And so, but so somewhere in that process, Amelia pushed her button, and Debbie Husley, who's the chair, says, Amelia, would you like to comment on this? And she's like, no, I wanted to ask if we could have the guy from Holyrood come back up and break that down for us before he goes. Which Debbie's like, hey, you saw in the audience, and I was like, hey,
break what down?
Just to give the spiel, like, what is it? What are we doing?
Oh, okay.
Like, especially now that the Happy Holler Project's its own group, because last time we'd partnered with Ex Hunger as our nonprofit. We are now our own nonprofit. I'm guessing it's going to be one of those, like, what's the point of the nonprofit, stuff like that. Which I was more than happy to give the pitch, because, again, it's an audience of people that would potentially maybe come to my event, and I was excited to do it. And it went long, and so, like, beer board starts at 5, regular city council starts at 6. It's like 5:50, and they're still got like 3 people left. And so it's like, okay, it's clear that they're not going to get this done in time. And so like that place filled up pretty quick because there was that big CareCuts fight was getting voted on. We'll come back to that, but I didn't get my chance to go back up and give my pitch for Amelia. But I did email her after the fact and said, hey, thanks for giving me the opportunity. Here's the website. Here's some intel on it. If you have any questions, hit me up.
Nice.
Griefing your...
But, the CareCuts fight. Did you hear that story?
I haven't seen any of that.
So CareCuts was wanting to put like a day service center. CareCuts does homeless stuff, services for the unhoused. Their core mission is stylists from around the area will volunteer a couple hours, maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, or they do different like dedicated times where anybody more or less can come down and get a haircut. And so that's their service they provide. But they do a lot more than that. We donated like 700 random stuffed animals we had floating around this house to them. And I interviewed Martha LaRue a couple years ago on the show. So anyway, she was there, and she had a bunch of her people there because they were trying to get this passed. A bunch of the people that lived nearby it were like, please don't. We don't want that in our backyard. And it was the good old-fashioned NIMBY fight, which I don't know. Like, it's an interesting one because it's there on Clinton Highway near the Merchants Interchange, and that Merchants Interchange is pretty lousy with homeless. It's one of the more densely homeless housed areas. Like, it's not Mission District and, right there on underneath the I-40 bridge. But it's probably it's probably like second or third as far as like number of homeless people that mill around outside of the North Downtown section. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on up there. And, I don't know. Like, I mean, again, CareCut saw it as an opportunity to serve the community they wish to serve. They chose that place for a reason. And so there was some concern from the neighborhoods that would bring more people that they don't want there. And so they tried to make the argument to Planning Commission. Planning Commission said, we can't, there's nothing on the legal side for us to say no to this. So it went to City Council, and City Council was ended up passing it. So it is going in.
So they're stopping them from providing this
service?
No,
the City Council passed I guess it was an appeal. I guess technically the agenda item. The agenda item was an appeal of Planning Commission's decision to approve it, and so the City Council voted against the appeal, going back to Planning Commission's original approval. So I guess it was 8 to 1 or 1 to 8, whichever way it went. So that CareCuts is doing the facility.
Okay.
So long story short, whichever version of like up or down the vote was for CareCuts to be able to do what they want to do up there.
Nice.
And so, yeah, good on them. I hit up. Funny story. I sent you this story like an hour ago. I thought I sent you this story like 4 days ago when I first saw it and went through it.
No.
So now you get to go through it blind. Sorry, buddy.
I read like the first paragraph, and that was it. Saw that it was by Hanson Sale.
Yeah, I accidentally sent it to one of my beer salesmen, to which he made a funny joke about why is the Sunseer got a boner. And I was like, that's not a bad joke, buddy. I'm not mad at that. I'm curious about this AI depiction that Hanson or whomever used for the photograph. Not my favorite. Volume, buddy. Sorry. It's a pretty wonky AI. It's not the worst, but like the Sunsphere is way too tall. The base of the Sunsphere is completely wrong.
No, you just aren't playing the game.
There's supposed to be a park under there.
The interstate's weird.
Is that stacks of cash and coin next to it, or is it this building? So,
and then there's a weird building that's on the interstate. In the interstate, I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Look like that.
Anyway, it's an interesting. It does have a beautiful sunset over a beautiful majestic mountain, which would again be wrong for Knoxville. It'd have to be a sunrise. So maybe it's a sunrise, not a sunset that we're looking at. Maybe that's the problem. Anyway, sorry everybody for you to hear us talk about a picture. Anyway, our friend Henson Sale, I actually messaged him. I was like, "Hey man, what are you doing around this time on Friday? You want to call in? I want to talk more about this growth thing. I'm really curious." He did not return my message. Every time I've talked to him, though, he's always like, anytime, man, just give me a call. I mean, it's also Friday night.
True.
So, I'm not mad at him for not. Anyway, so inside of Knoxville, which generally, they do business culture. They do a lot of business openings. That's one of their big things they do. Like, new business comes in, they'll do a profile of the owner and the concept that this place is doing all around town. They came and did us when we opened the Pirate Bar. They did our neighbors. So like everything that's been going on at Happy Holler, they've done. I think they did a Happy Holler one, the Happy Holler group separately from. I don't know. I've done a couple. I've talked to them a couple times.
Yeah.
So anyway, Henson, who is formerly of, I think he's working. I think he's an employee of the National Democratic Party or something like that. He left the Realtors group.
I was about to say, I thought he was with the Realty Group.
No, he left that position as the spokesman for the Knox County Association of Realtors, which I'm still confused on the difference in a realtor.
There's a difference?
It's spelled differently. Huh. Or maybe it's all. Maybe the one that ends ER is just a Berenstein bear
version?
Yeah. maybe realtor OUR. Association of Realtors. Anyway, headline is, can Knox County keep up with its own growth? Growth has created new opportunities, but also new economic pressures that local leaders must address to sustain Knox County's quality of life. It's cliche, but it's true. The secret is out. Knox County is one of the fastest growing counties in America. It's also, by some measures, one of the most fiscally unprepared for that growth. Since the Great Recession, the county's economy has consistently outpaced the nation, averaging 3% annual GDP growth since 2010, compared with 2.4% nationally. That trend only intensifies out of the pandemic. Since 2021, local real GDP has grown at an average rate of 5.3%, compared with 3.6% nationally. Meaning the local economy has, on average, grown almost 50% faster than the regular country, or the rest of the country. The downside of that is the second section where you get into the cost of housing, where for the first time in the history of Knox County, the median sale price versus the affordable price, which is like some weird formula they do with average incomes and stuff like that. So basically what it's saying is we have more economic things happening. There's more economy happening in Knox County. That economy has grown wages, has grown the ability for people to do X, Y, or Z, but the cost of living is outpacing that growth in income.
Yeah.
And so that economic growth is more is flat in the sense it's spreading out over more people, not that the same number of people are making more money.
Gotcha.
And so, long story short is, again, Henson has his real estate background, so that's kind of the thing. And so the long and short of what he's talking about here is housing infrastructure cannot keep pace. There are some things that the county government can do in the housing market, but the biggest thing that the county can do is the infrastructure issues to help stabilize the growth, which Henson's argument is more or less that the county can't afford it, which I think is pretty known to everybody except for Betsy Henderson and people that like her. Because I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out where this money's coming from. I've been thinking all week. So we were talking last week about stuff in that one clip we pulled of her or whatever, talking about the red tape thing. She's going to cut the bureau, like her. It was a couple weeks ago when we talked about her little packet. Mm-hmm. And then she had a line in there that says, that encourage businesses to move to Knox County that align with our values and cut the bureaucratic red tape for them to make it easier for them to come here, kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about that for weeks now. I don't own a business in the county. All my businesses are in the city of Knoxville. And the city of Knoxville can be a pain in the ass to deal with on certain particular items here and there. But I don't know what red tape Knox County has, except for building shit. What kind of building you can put where?
How big your sign can be.
How big your sign can be. Well, yes, but I'm talking about how big your building can be, what you can do in that building. How many houses can be in a block, developers, or whether it's a strip mall or something like that a different type of developer wants to put in, which is confusing to me because I would think that the cultural whatever bullshit that we want these companies to align with are not going to be developer stuff, especially, at least from Betsy's point of view. Whether it's a real estate developer in the residential sense or whether it's a real estate developer in the shopping center, strip mall kind of thing. I don't think Knox County wants either of those. Actually, I think Knox County wants both of those, but I don't think Betsy's vision for Knox County includes either of those. And so, yes, those two type of businesses, a developer building a neighborhood or a developer building a shopping center, they have a lot of red tape to go through in building code and all that kind of stuff. Which, again, I know I said this on the show. In Knox County, city of Knoxville, for building code, residential and commercial, use what's called like the International Codes of Building or something like that. It's not something that Knox County has created. It's a generic building code that's universally used around the world.
Right.
And Knox County has it codified as far as these are the rules of Knox County and it matches these. But at the end of the day, the number of outlets you can put on a circuit in a residential home is the same here as it is in New York and Chicago or Florida or something like that. Maybe. I don't know what theirs are. They might not match it, but it's a universal code. It's an international code is what they call it. The International Building Code. So a lot of this stuff is generic, which yes, technically is bureaucratic, but it's not really. Any developers used to dealing with the International Building Code. Right. And so I'm curious, and I will take the opportunity when I do get the opportunity to ask Betsy among all of them, because that's a Republican talking point is, cut this bureaucratic red tape that makes things hard for you to live your life and do the business the way you want to do it. I'm curious what they're talking about, because I don't know what that is. There may be stuff, because again, my businesses are in the city and I have to deal with city stuff. But all the shit that I've had to deal with city is beer permit, like we just talked about. Liquor license is a state one. Hemp license is a state one. I have like tangible personal property tax on the city, in the city and county, which I still have in the county. I mean, like that's a tax though. I don't do there's no bureaucracy in that. It's just I do have one piece of paper I got to fill out that says how much shit I have, and they say, well, you owe us this much if you want to keep your shit, which is in its own level of fucked up. Sure, I'd be glad to get that gone. That's fine with me. But I'm just saying, like in the bureaucrat, like when somebody says the word bureaucracy to me, I think of things that impede me from doing what I want to do with my business.
I mean, inspections slowed you down.
Do it?
That's so the inspections initially.
Yeah, but it's all building inspections.
Right.
Which are, again, it's an international code we run off of.
Right.
Now, again, there's some stuff. There's some weirdism. The one that we had with the front door was a weirdism that's an exception to that they didn't decide to get us because of a semi-historical overlay, blah, 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 blah. Yes. But, like, the number of bathrooms that I have to have, my wheelchair accessibility, the, number of people I'm allowed to have in the place per square feet of customer space. Like, all those things are set numbers that aren't really that's not a county rule.
Right.
And so, again, I'm curious, and maybe it's different. Maybe the county is different. Maybe the county doesn't use this international building code for commercial property that the city does. I don't know.
That's why there's that many businesses in the county.
Now the county does use the international code for residential, so I'm assuming they use it for commercial as well. But I don't know. And so again, the question I have is like, what are we talking about? Like, literally what are we talking about? Because I really don't know. And maybe I'm because again, you're 100. That's the other part of it too. It's like, even if you did cut out whatever bureaucracy you think exists, it will have next to no effect. Because as discussed, like 80-something% of total economic sales, like sales tax economic revenues that come in from Knox County are either in the city limits, and an additional 3 or 4% of it are in the township of Farragut. And so you only have 10, 12% or whatever that math is of total economic activity in Knox County that's not in the city or in the township of Farragut.
Right.
And so even if you do get this through, it's 12% of the economy of the county that will be affected by whatever bureaucracy you're going to trim.
It sounds good.
It does sound good. And I'm pissed off that I believed it. That, like, my gut reaction was like, yeah, I agree with that. Because I do in principle. Like, on generic principle, I do agree with that.
Right.
But when it's cut red tape that doesn't exist, I don't know what we're talking about. And maybe I'm wrong. And again, I'm open to I'm open to being corrected. Almost an agreement at gmail.com with somebody saying, well, when I tried to open my shoe factory out in Straw Plains, the county wanted this and that and this and that. And it's like, well, okay. Again, if it's a building thing, it wasn't that you're not allowed to build shoes in Knox County. That wasn't the bureaucracy standing in the way. It was that you were going to dump, the leftover cement, rubber cement for gluing the shoes together into the French Broad right there? Over by Straw Plains? Or
yeah, I'm not sure.
Whatever beautiful waterway is right there, that part of your process was going to be polluting, and that's something that the county doesn't allow.
Right.
I don't know. Like what? And yes, that is technically bureaucracy, I suppose.
That's one thing I think is maybe the county may be more strict on stormwater just because we have worse flooding compared to the city, I think. But you were talking about one of the guys that was wanting to do something.
Yeah.
That they had to change their drainage system or whatever, update their drainage system.
Right. It has to go, because right now it doesn't go anywhere. It just runs off the top of the building, down the gutter, down the, like a normal thing. It just runs out the downspout into the parking lot.
Yeah.
if he wants to put a restaurant into that building, that water then has to go into a drain under his parking lot that then goes into a specific stormwater drain in the city, which is available down there. It's not. It's a decent ways down. He'd have to cut a big strip through his parking lot and the parking lot next door to hook it up and do all the stuff he needs to do on it. And one of his complaints is that the ground drain that all his stuff runs to anyway goes into that system. There's a drain in the ground at the bottom of the hill at the bottom of his property.
It just has to flow over top to get there.
Right. I mean, that's his complaint. And again, this guy's kind of this guy's a little bit psycho about some of this stuff, and but again, like that is red tape. That is functional red tape that doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe there's a reasonable explanation. Like the part that confuses me about it is like I can't understand the reasoning behind that one. It's because a restaurant is a special pollutant class of business, as opposed to a tire shop that used to be there.
Right.
I'm just feeling like of the two that would put shit in the wastewater that I'd be more concerned with, I feel like the tire shop would be the more likely. Like animal fats.
I think on like a water treatment, you're got a lot more fats and stuff which I think you're supposed to have a special kind of like grease catchment
have a grease
for that.
trap, yeah.
Yeah.
And you'd have, which you still have to have. You still have to have a grease trap. It's not a grease. That's not what the way he explained it.
I think where they would kind of. I mean, I agree with the tire shop. You probably get more likelihood of kind of toxic substances and whatnot going into it. Maybe the water treatment guys don't really care as much about the toxins as they do something gumming up their pipes.
Right. I don't know. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. It's easier, right? It's easier to get rubber chunks out than it is to scrape fat off the pipe walls.
It's easier, I guess, to dilute chemicals than it is.
Right, to scrape the fat off the pipe walls.
The whole system.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Again, and so this is one of those things that's like I'm really like I'm open to the idea that I don't know what I'm talking about, because I just don't understand what what anybody could be talking about. Because again, to me, the implication of cutting red tape in the county would be super developer friendly, which Betsy says she isn't. She doesn't want unrestricted growth. She doesn't want people popping apartment complexes in high density neighborhoods all over the place. That's the bureaucracy in play, and that's the bureaucracy she wants to keep.
I thought she was saying she's going to cut the red tape. I thought that was specifically in the mind of business.
I mean, that's her stated thing. But again, if it does, I don't think it exists. I think the only real county, the bureaucracy that exists on the county level, not the state level, but on the county level, on something that the county commission and the mayor's office can add or subtract from the ordinances. I don't know, other than building code and land use, what county commission already has that could be cut. I don't know what red tape she's talking about.
Right.
Generically, the only one that I can think of is the ones that she supports, which is not to let you build a trailer park next to her McMansion neighborhood. Because she definitely wants those red tapes to stay in place. I assume. Because she is anti-developer. By rule. Not by rule, by rhetorical statement. She's anti-growth, anti-tax. That's the, again, I'll run this mayor's, I haven't talked to Bo yet, but I'll run my understanding of the mayor's, if forget the names, forget them bitching about all the different stuff, because it's gotten fun. I got some Larson J flyers today, which are actually from a PAC. No, that's the old one.
Yeah.
That are from a PAC, because my genius wife looked at it and she's like, he didn't do this. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because she doesn't know shit about Larson. But she's like, this isn't him.
She knows to look for the fine print.
This is she's like, this picture doesn't make any sense for what they're saying on here. I feel like this is just like some stock picture that they stole and they're using on this.
Huh.
But they're they read pro Larson to me. So, but they're PAC. I mean, it's definitely a PAC. I can't, like, it's the something prosperity PAC or something like that. And so I'm not sure exactly where it came from, and I don't have them in front of me, and we can't look up the pack while we're sitting here. What the hell did I just do?
Kind of.
I lost my stuff. Yeah, and so this is like, to me, if you just forget the names, you have open to tax, anti-development, anti-growth as candidate A. You have pro-growth, open to tax, candidate B, anti-growth, anti-development, candidate C. I'm sorry, anti-growth, absolutely anti-tax as candidate C. And then you probably have candidate D, the Democrat. I didn't mean to do it that way, but it works. Who's going to be pro-tax and pro-growth and pro-spend. I don't know. I haven't talked to the guy yet, so I don't really know his stances. He's just at his officially kickoff party. Like, I think it's actually might be tonight. Because realistically, he doesn't have to start campaigning yet until, May 10th, 11th is when he actually needs to start campaigning.
Right. Yeah,
because he doesn't have to win a primary, and he doesn't know who his opponent is yet. So he can be pretty low key. But he is coming to my event. And so like that, as far as mayors go, that ABC is what you got: anti-growth, anti-tax, anti-growth, open to tax, pro-growth, open to tax. Whichever combination you prefer out of those three is who you should be voting for. Because functionally, realistically, pretty sure like that's as far as things that will be talked about, that is the most accurate breakdown of what they can do within the job. It's budget and land use.
Yeah.
Budget and land use is 99% of the county commission and mayor's office. So, if you want my Seth
They
Barber's...
can't do anything single-handedly, right? There's no executive order power.
I mean, they've got some stuff like within departments that already exist, kind of thing.
Okay.
But they can't drop an ordinance, or they can't do a mayor's order and say that I don't know. They might be able to call this the day of the best podcast host in Knox County and name it after me.
Right.
I don't know. The mayor might be able to do that by themselves.
They can be honorary.
But I think they do that with commission usually. There's a veto. The Knox County mayor does have a veto. But then the commission
still be overridden.
Commission can still come back over. Commission's 11. 6 is a simple majority. A veto-proof majority, I think, would have to get them to 9. Either 8 or 9. Which on a contentious issue like a property tax increase, I could see it maybe passing with 6 or 7, but not being able to get to that 8 or 9. And if Betsy's mayor, she's promised to veto it. Well, and I guess I take it back. The third issue being infrastructure, which all three of them rhetorically say they want to do better.
Yeah.
I think, realistically, it's hard to say honestly that Betsy has any real hope of doing some serious infrastructure improvements with taxes not being an option. Larson is running his campaign right now. Like, his lead item on his things is like conservative, fix roads. Like, that seems to be his top phrasing on his campaign materials that he's putting out. He's fix the roads, better roads, better roads. That's all he wants to talk about. He's not talking about a tax increase. He's not talking about growth. But I think realistically, that's kind of a pro-growth move. If you want to fix, if roads are all that matters to you,
yeah,
because you want that new neighborhood to be able to get on the road that is a road and not a dirt trail, or you want that new neighborhood to have a nice wide road that can handle the traffic that it needs to go there, stuff like that.
Exactly.
So, which I think realistically, I don't disagree with that. Should be spending a ton of money, as much money as the county can get away with reasonably. They should be spending on infrastructure improvements. And then I think the other one that I would want out of a mayor is a mayor that's going to go to Nashville and sit with our friend Becky Massey and be like, fix your shit. We're the third largest city in the state. We have one of the highest trafficked intersections of interstates in the country. We have the longest stretch of combined major interstate, I believe. The 7540 combo is the longest stretch in any intersection where the two interstates run together. In the 7540,
Right.
from from all the way out there to Watt Road to 640 technically, because then it goes on 640 up. But whatever, and so that's what I would want to see out of a mayor who's pounding Nashville, be like, hey, well, the 640. I mean, yeah, I guess how does that work? Because I mean, it's the interstate, it's federal interstate, but the state Department of Transportation's handling. It's not the federal Department of Transportation. They'll grant monies and stuff like that. But there's no U.S. there. I mean, there's DOT does truck licensing and stuff like that. But DOT doesn't do their own road fixes. It's always the states that they're in. I don't know how that works. That's a good question. Do you know?
Not sure.
Okay. I think that's what it is. I think it's that TDOT, like Interstate 40 work, TDOT would do the actual work or do the contracting to find the work, but the federal government would pay part or all of.
Right. They definitely kick in
would fund it.
Assume it's probably a percentage. I don't think they float it 100%.
And so that's what I want out of a mayor. I want a mayor that's going to the state and be like, fix North Shore, fix Chapman Highway, fix Clinton Highway. These are your roads. Take care of them, or pay us, and we'll do it. We'll do it for you. Just pay us. Like, you need to kick in. We'll do. We'll widen North Shore to at least 3 or if not 4 lanes, all the way down like it should be. But you need to help fund it. We'll hire the crews to do it. You need to help fund it.
It needs it, but then it's going to be quite an undertaking. Because a lot of it, you've got drop-offs on either side of it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just you go in there and you put the 3-foot, 4-foot, concrete culverts in to handle all that runoff.
Yeah,
that's all those ditches on either side are. None of them are. There's one stretch that's like a pretty creek, but most of it's just runoff. I don't know. That's why we have engineers.
Right. And you can piss off some of those nice neighborhoods that have a whole big frontage going into their neighborhoods.
I mean, the thing is, most of it you could get away with it without doing a ton of eminent domain or land purchase. I believe. I think there's enough of it that would be within the easement that the state or the county wouldn't have to buy a bunch of people out. They may have to pay
move a bunch of power poles too.
Yeah,
well, that's where you encourage them. Go ahead and put them underground.
That would be my pitch, but they don't, because that's what Emory's doing. They're doing that whole huge project up on Emory right now,
right?
And they spent all of last year planting new poles 15 feet off the curb, so that when they ride in the road, they'll be back on the curb.
Yeah.
Which, that one doesn't bother me. Like, a major roadway doesn't bother me as much, because that's the split point where, as it goes down the road, then things start splitting off side to side and go further back in. Because they're like the 80-footers out there. They're not the normal neighborhood 20-foot, 30-footers or whatever. Mm-hmm. They're the big boys. So, anyway, that's what I want out of a mayor. I want a mayor that's going to fight the state to get funding so that they're fixing their roads. I want a mayor that is tentatively open to a tax conversation if they're serious about it. My problem with Betsy on the tax thing personally is just to say flat no is bullshit. It's a bullshit thing to say. You could mean it. You could truly mean it. But just on a legal standpoint, she maybe have put herself in a position where she's going to be a liar. Because she may have to, because of the way state law works and how the counties are allowed to spend their money. It may not be a choice.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'd be curious. Maybe I do want her to win for the show. Because I'd be curious what would happen if Commission passed a property tax increase in order to cover a what's the word I'm looking for here? To cover a projected shortfall in debt payments, and then Betsy vetoes it, and Commission can't get enough votes to get it past the veto. And I'm very curious what the apparatus is going to be, how the structure would work if the county defaults on a loan. because
By law, they can't. So
by
they're just gonna
state
start
law, they
cutting other
can't.
services.
well, but by state law they can't. They'd have to but the thing is, there's not a lot of services to cut, and
I'd say the first to go would be parks.
yeah, and that's one of the few that can. Libraries would be another one. I would put that in the first to drop category. But I don't know. I think I would think personally the political fallout. We're just locking all the county parks up because we can't afford. Like we lay off all the county park employees. Like we just shut down the county parks program, or we whittle it down to like 6 people, and then like 2 parks are still open across Knox County because they have to close them all because if they can't service them, they can't have them open.
I don't know how much money they could raise if they tried to sell them privately.
Sell the land?
Land in the park itself.
Okay, sure, do it. That would be.
But I don't think that would be that much money.
It wouldn't be, but my point being the political fallout of just closing them.
Right.
Like, let's go back to that Chilhowie Park conversation. Like, just the idea of a private business owning it, even though everything that they were going to do as the private business they were saying, and granted it's a private business, they could change what they're doing, blah, blah, blah. But everything they were saying was pretty much everything everybody wanted down there anyway. And it was just on the principle of, no, I'd rather, if we're going to have a park there, yes, we want a park there. But if we're going to have a park there, we're going to own it, not some nonprofit.
Yeah.
Now, if that happened in the countywide, like at the Cove, if county put the Cove for sale, I don't know, man. I think that the political fallout would be insane. Like, I think that might be like, going to whoever the mayor's house and dragging them out by their hair. Like, I think that might be like semi-riot level shit.
I mean, a business could own it and still it'd be like it's touristy. I mean, I don't think they would charge admission. They would probably add in more areas to make money.
Get fucked. I'd buy the Cove and I'd put my house on it.
Sure.
I'm just saying, like...
People are still going to come. You're going to keep them off your property.
Yeah, I'll start shooting them. I'll put a fence up. I'll put a gate on my driveway.
Just have a mega parking lot.
Yeah, I'll put my house... Like so you've got the bathhouse or whatever right there by the volleyball courts, the little building.
Yeah.
And that's all that... I mean, it's the only building on that and the...
A big gazebo.
The big... Well, and then on the other side of the big gazebo is the kayak and canoe rental place. It's a little shack.
That's what I was thinking of. I guess it's been a while since I've been there.
I mean, there's a building. It's like
close to the volleyball courts. There's like a bathroom.
Yeah, it's bathrooms and it's like one big dining room basically. Like it'd be like if you were going to do like a family gathering and you wanted an inside place.
Yeah.
Like I don't think they have a kitchen in there. I think it's just bathrooms and a banquet hall, for lack of a better word. I would go back there. So like if I own the Cove, I would put a big fence up, big tall 15-foot chain link fence, razor wire on the top, stay the fuck out fence, that kind of thing, all the way down North Shore. I'd have the one entrance stay where it is, but I'd have one of those like garage door opener where the gate opens,
right?
Like it stays closed, and I stop on North Shore to turn left, push the button, wait for the gate to open, block traffic behind me the whole time, don't give a fuck. I own the Cove, suck it, bitches. Get down in there, but then like the walking trail,
right?
So you go all the way down west on the walking trail, and it has that loop that goes back there. I put my house all the way back there, right in the middle of that deep thicket of trees. Got 40, 50-foot trees. Won't even be able to see my house. There'll be the river proper on my one side, that one little pond that's kind of crops up seasonally on the other side.
Yeah.
You're coming down a very narrow path to get to my door. And I'll have a couple of places set up where I'm zeroed in on exactly what happens if you come into my yard. That's what I would do if the Cove. If the Cove goes for sale and I have a chance to buy it, that's my plan.
I was thinking more like a business or something like that would buy it.
I mean, there is some amount of control that the county can have in a deal when they sell county property. They can be like, it's not just flat for sale. It's we're going to sell you this, but you can't do this, this, and this. Like they can put deed restrictions on basically that says you can't put a strip club in here or whatever. Right. So, I don't know, but again, 6 or half dozen. If any of the parks go for sale around the county, and the Cove just being a quick example that I was thinking, but Tommy Schubert up there on the north side, there's a bunch of parks around the county that I think people would lose their fucking minds
Right.
if the county is starting to try to sell those off. Because again, per the hypothetical we're putting together here, the county is in a hurry to sell these off too. So they're going to be getting sold, and probably not for the value that most people would say they're worth. And big, Hatcher Hills and the type of these big landowner developers, the Baxter family, the Mondays, all these people that own a bunch of, like the Knox Trail salvage people that own a ton of land, they're more in the city. But there is a short list of people that owns a whole lot of Knox County property
Right.
that I'm sure would be very high on the list of people that know about this going on before the rest of us would, that might be making offers on that. We just wanted to help Knox County out, make sure they were taken care of so they could pay their bills or whatever. And they gave us a good deal on this piece of land. Which, again, Hatcher Hill does it. He's putting an apartment complex up there because that's what he does. And I think the people of Choteau and Southwest Farragut would literally march down North Shore with spikes and pitchforks and torches and walk their happy ass all the way to wherever the fucking mayor's house is in full-on medieval, chasing the monster out of the city format. If there was an apartment complex going in the Cove. Although that'd be a great apartment complex. You could charge top dollars. Yeah. Although my 4-lane North Shore all the way down both ways would make that roundabout really fucking awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, they make them. They make 4-way. They make, multi-lane.
I see lots of crash videos of those.
Yeah.
People that don't know how to use them or just don't care.
Well, a lot of people don't know how to use them, period, whether they're 1-lane, 2-lane, or 37 lanes.
Right.
There was a video I saw of I think it was in Paris, that a set of the Paris buses got into the roundabout and got stuck. And they were literally nose to tail. And then because it was one of those 3-lane ones. And so there were people in cars stuck inside this circle of buses that were stuck.
Because the bus couldn't get out either.
Because the buses couldn't move either because they got into they were nose to tail. They were nearly touching each other.
So one that was somewhere in England that I think was like a double roundabout, but it also had like 4 or 5 other roads that kind of fed into it. They said most people will take the alternate route and just go around it because they don't even want to fuck with that roundabout.
I mean, it's got to be a tough roundabout if the people that know how to use roundabouts can't use that roundabout.
Right.
Or prefer not to use that roundabout because it's a mess. I mean, we have our own versions of that here. There's intersections that I try to avoid. I avoid North Shore and Kings Pike. I'm in that area a lot. But if I start heading that direction, I'm in my head how am I getting to where I want to go without having to go through that? But depending on the time of the day, you can't turn left. Blah blah blah. It's a mess.
Right.
And so, again, not to give some cover to the ridiculous English and the ridiculous roundabouts, but we can't do regular intersections either. So, look, I mean, I'm excited to see how North Knox County. I'm excited to see how my North Knox County brethren handle this intersecting diamond that they're putting in at the Emery Road exit. I feel like we're going to have some pickup trucks on their roofs.
I'd be more worried about in the interim when they have just the orange cones out. Because I remember when I went to exit 407 when they were building, because I think it's supposed to pretty much be the same thing they have at 407.
Except it's under instead of over.
Oh, okay.
As 407 goes over interstate, Emery's going to stay under.
The only time I had trouble was when it was just orange cones, and it took me by surprise. And I was like, wait, what the fuck's going on? Am I doing this right?
No. Oh, CVS.
Yeah, I've started to see a few of their
advertising during
commercials.
March Madness basketball about save our stores. Get fucked, CVS. I don't love you.
I've seen any that were specifically Save My Stores, but it was more just kind of heartfelt,
Right.
Got a family. We've been going to this one particular pharmacy for a while. Because
the marketing team that's putting it together has done a very good job of making it a CVS ad
all right.
and a political ad together.
I haven't seen anything specifically or talk to your legislature about.
Oh, I've seen
we're about to
ton.
get shut down, really.
Yeah. HB, whatever the number is, call your legislator. Literally, that's the closing frame is this nice, big, bright, whatever. talked about the care cuts thing. That UT professor officially was fired this week.
Did see that.
I mean, I'm like, on the merits of this case, yes, it's redonkulous. I mean, literally, at one level, like, it is perfectly within the realm of legal possibility if I were an employee of a place that the comments I make on this podcast, whether it's about my job or not, could be a reason for them to fire me and terminate our employment agreement. I think, it makes sense to me. Like, it's free speech. I'm going to talk on here how I want to talk on here. But if my employer doesn't like it, that's an issue. And I have to make a decision on whether the job is more important to me or the stupid podcast that I do.
Yeah.
And so, I luckily am in a position where that doesn't matter to me. So I do what I want to do. But, I get that on the private side. And then, so part of me from the just, capitalist economic conversation, whatever side of it, it's like, if Donde Plowman, who is the quote-unquote CEO of the University of Tennessee, wants to fire any employee she wants to for any reason she wants to, whether it's an action within the job or outside of the job, that doesn't seem crazy to me, given the prior example. However, somebody who kind of likes the Constitution and thinks it's kind of a big deal, and we should probably try to do our best to stick to it. Technically, the definition, Donde Plowman is an agent of the state. If Donde Plowman says something that says you can't say that, that is literally state censorship of an individual, especially outside the workplace. The Supreme Court has consistently sided with the professors or employees in this sense, in that it's like, look, I get it. You want to fire this person. If it was a private company, you could fire them and there'd be no questions, and that's perfectly fine. But you are the president of a state university. You are the president. You are basically representing the state. If you are representing the state cannot punish people for speech. Right. It's not okay. We can't allow that to be a thing. Now, it is a very unique combination of things that gets us to where we are, but that's where we are. And I kind of get that.
Yeah. I tend to kind of side with the teacher, and I think her response to either to the school or all of those just the news, that it seems like Donde Plowman did it
for political reasons, under political pressure.
Yeah.
That might be the best way to put it. And I think that's true too, but it's like, listen, again, that's what's bad. Like, that's the bad part about the story. Forget the hair splitting definition of who can fire who for what they say outside of work kind of stuff. Like, the idea that this is a conversation worth having. Like, what are we talking about? Like, for the people that were out there days after Charlie Kirk's death, scouring the internet for people who were happy about it, and then reporting to their bosses that they said this thing. Like, the core base of this story, a comment on somebody else's post. You posted the thing about Charlie Kirk dying, and I said, yeah, that piece of shit's, like, I commented on your post, that piece of shit's dead, or whatever the fuck she said. Yeah. Like, not even my post. Your post. I comment on that. Like, the idea.
Was it a comment? I thought she posted something.
It was not. It was a comment on a post.
Okay.
That somebody screen grabs that, reports it to somebody, and that goes all the way through a chain of psychopaths that then starts screaming at Tim Burchett and Marsha Blackburn, who are all too excited to get up in arms about, Donde, you need to get rid of this chick. She's out here glorifying the death of an American hero.
Yeah.
Which, again, back to our first block of the night with the Afro Man story, it's fucking America, damn it. I can celebrate bad shit, and you could suck it. It's none of your fucking business. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect you. It doesn't affect my job. Right?
Yeah, as long as you're not calling for violence.
I mean, yeah. I didn't say somebody should shoot Charlie Kirk's friend now, too. I didn't continue it. I said, all right, that's the thing that happened. That's cool. I'm good with it. I always get, like, one of the funny things, and I think you've given me sideways looks on it too. Like, I will always defend the right for people to be racist. I will defend the right for people to be racist. It's not a crime. It is a crime to tell people they can't be racist, legally speaking. It's legally, like, it is a requirement of the Constitution of the United States to allow people to be racist assholes.
Yeah.
It's a requirement. And people look at me weird every time I make that argument. It's like, no. You have to, like, I may not agree with what you have to say, but I'll defend your right to, I'll defend to the death your right to say it. Like, you have to think of it that way. You can't, it's not the particular of what you said, it's that you're allowed to say. And I don't know what's going on in the world where we just don't think about it anymore. It's just, I don't like what you said. But man, I'm going to freak out if you tell me that I can't say what I want to say. It's like, and it's, again, it's not just a speech thing. This is consistent across multiple levels of the politics game right now. It's like where, I'm the no war president. Here we are in the fucking war, but the speech one especially bothers me because it seems easy to me. Like, why is this so difficult for people? Like, this seems like the easy one. Like, okay, so I was at the bank today. I wonder if you know what this is. I hope you don't. But I was at the bank today and look over and I see this guy's truck, and he's got the like a half "Don't Tread on Me," half Tennessee flag. So it was like the snake, and then it was the TriStar.
Yeah.
And then above that, it was a blue flag with a red cross horizontally. So like Finland style cross, right? With a red cross with white stars inside. The cross had a white border too, but it's the base of the flag was blue, red cross, white stars. And I've forgotten the specific of what he told me because I'm an idiot and I'll ask strangers questions that could be dangerous.
You straight up asked him.
Yeah. I'm looking it up because I don't remember the name.
I think it's still a state plate you can get. It's like Daughters of the Confederacy or whatever.
Yeah, it's got a little battle flag.
Yeah. But I think it's still like the X.
Yeah. But it's also a red base flag. That's what made it so apparent to me because of the blue base flag. There's not a lot of blue base flags.
Yeah.
That I can think of. I mean, I say that I'm from Wisconsin. Wisconsin's flag is a blue flag with their stupid seal on it. But do you know? You got any guesses?
No.
See if.
Just hoping it's not Patriot Front or something.
No, I don't want to do your AI mode. Not that one.
There it is. Set the picture up a little bit lower.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So this is ConfederateMuseum.com, if that helps push you in the right direction. Where is it? There it is. No. There it is. Polk. General Polk's battle flag. And so...
Think he's a reenactor?
No, I think it's probably a racist piece of shit. That's probably what this person is. And so anyway, so I'm walking out of the bank, and then I see the guy walking towards the truck, and I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with that flag. What is that flag? And he introduced it as it was a Confederate General Polk's flag. Like, that's how he responded to the question.
Right.
And as soon as I got in my car, I'm thinking to myself, if I was a big, angry-looking black dude, do you think he would have said it that way? Or you think he would have been like, oh, it's General Polk's flag. Like, I mean, put it in some weird way that wasn't so obviously, like, take the Confederate out of his statement.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I have multiple feelings about this whole interaction that I put myself in, and it's my whole thing. And I don't I don't really care. I don't give a shit. Like, one of my neighbors moved here from Texas, and I can't remember what it was, but we were walking the dog, and we walked by their car that's parked in their driveway, and we see their Texas plate, and it doesn't have they didn't have a year sticker or something. There was something that just didn't that was different. And then so like a couple weeks later, we're walking around, and that person happened to be out in the yard doing something. I was like, hey, excuse me, we're looking at your plate. You guys are from Texas? It's like, yeah. It's like, do you guys not do the year sticker? It's like, no, we get a new plate every year. Like, they don't get stickers to add to plates or something like that. I don't remember what it was, but there was some reason for why they did it that way.
I could see doing because there's some states that have like state inspections where you have that sticker you put on like the inside of your windshield on like a certain corner.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, my point is I'm dumb enough to just ask strangers things because I'm curious.
Right.
And one of those curiosities introduced me to some random racist dude right here in West Knoxville. Because, I mean, that's a pretty weird, specific.
That still leads me to think maybe he's a reenactor of why he would pick a particular general, or maybe he has a familiar connection to it. I don't know.
Maybe. What was it? Polk, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it may have been Tennessee General.
He was the commander of the 1st Corps, Army of Tennessee, commonly known as Polk's Corps. Chetham's Corps or Hardee's Corps was a corps of the Army of Tennessee. Okay, hold on a second. If I understand our Tennessee history correctly, where was Tennessee in this? Tennessee was a Confederate state.
Yeah.
But Knoxville was a Union town.
I don't think we were a Union town. I think we had like a Union base here. We had battles here. I think there was like a Union hospital.
Oh, this is the other one. I forgot about that
They
one.
had actual battles here.
Leonidas Polk, Lieutenant General. Leonidas Polk. Commanded the Corps from November 26, 1862, and held it with minor interruptions until his relief on September 1863 and subsequent arrest on October of 1863. And it participated in the Tennessee campaign June to October under General Bragg. Major engagements under Polk included Stones River and the Battle at Chickamauga. Major Benjamin F. Cheatham? How do you say that? That's always a weird name to me. Cheatham?
Yeah, Cheatham.
Commanded the Corps 4 times during those periods as well. And then Lieutenant General Hardee.
Yeah.
So is
Maybe it's a semi more covert, not covert, but a less obvious way to
show off your for people that
support the Stars and Bars.
For people that are racist like you, they get it. For people that aren't, they're just like, oh, that's a cool little flag. What's that about? Like that's what I did.
Right.
Which fascinates me. Like as I've grown older, and again, this guy was older than me, to be clear. Not that was necessarily a surprise in my illustration of the conversation, but like I don't get it. Is it something that I'm too young to understand at 45, 44 and a half?
I understand what?
Like I had my spat. Like I've talked about. I don't know if I talked about it on the show or not. Like when I was in high school, early high school, late middle school. Like I had a stint where I wanted to be a racist. I got into Rage Against the Machine because I thought they were a Nazi band. And then I realized they were like the is probably the polar opposite of it. And I mean, honestly, Rage probably saved me from being this little skinhead.
Okay.
But I bought Mein Kampf and I was angry and I was reading on my Nazi shit. I still own it somewhere around here. But, like it didn't functionally logic with me the more I tried. Like I wanted to. Like I was mad and I wanted to take my rage out somewhere. And that's what made sense to me at the time. And it quickly didn't make sense. Yeah. And I grew out of it fairly fast. I mean, obviously, you don't know this. I mean, do you know that of me? Like, did you know
I remember you having the book.
Yeah. Yeah, because we asked our German friend to do some translating of stuff that they didn't translate well.
I don't think you had a German version of it, so I don't think you.
No, but there was some stuff in it that like they would use. They put the German word in, and then they put a footnote of the because it didn't translate well.
I don't remember doing that.
There was a couple spots, and I was like, "But what does this mean?" He's like, "That's not a word. I don't know how to make that." I remember asking Roland that one time, asking him for one word. I might not have shown him the book. I might have like written it down and handed it to him.
Right.
But anyway,
and he's like, "Where'd you say this word?"
Yeah, I think I told him. I think I talked about it. I don't remember. But anyway, it was just like it was a phase I was in, and it was a shitty phase, and I'm not super proud of it. And if I ever had an opportunity to run for office, I think I just screwed it up there. But I don't know. I'll just make the waiter argument. It's like nobody gives a shit about what I did 26 years ago, right?
Right.
Almost 30 years ago. But anyway, point being, I lost my train of thought. You're allowed to be a racist. I think that's where we started this. Like that's part of the system. This guy existed. Like no part of me, after understanding what this man was showing this flag for. It was him puffing out his I'm fucking better than you-ness. That's what he was doing. He was being a racist, and that's his mildly covert way of showing off his racism.
Right.
Guarantee it. No part of me walking away from that interaction, because he wasn't rude about it. He kind of gave a little kind of, like he kind of turned around with a what the fuck kind of stance at me.
Right. Why are you looking at my truck?
I was like, well, why you put your shit on your truck for me to look at? And so there was a little bit of that, but it's like as I was leaving, like I said, as I was leaving that, I thought I had a couple thoughts of it, but no even minor level of my thought process went to, he shouldn't be allowed to do that. If anything, I was like, well, I'm glad I know that now. So if I see that flag somewhere else, I'll know that's probably not a person I want to hang out with.
Yeah.
I am excited that I learned something new today. Thank you, friend, for educating me on another way to identify stupid people. Appreciate it. It was a cool looking flag, though. It kind of bums me out. Like, it was interesting. Like, it was just like, it had all the proper, like, iconography that made you feel America. But different.
Yeah.
And it's gross. So.
Different side of America.
Anyway, I mean, like, good job, First Corps Tennessee, for creating a pretty cool flag. Other than that, I don't know if you did anything worthwhile. But, anyway, like, but point being is, again, it's like I don't understand why people don't understand that. Like, I don't understand. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe this is a proper callback to my pitching a fit about the failures of our education system. It's like, how can this not be clear? Like, how can this be confusing to people at any level? Like, I understand in certain formats that we have a little bit of, like, we tighten it up here and there. Like, we don't let you broadcast out into the air where anybody with a simple machine could pick it up using a bunch of foul language or nudity or something like that. I understand that we put a few safeguards here and there on a few certain little things.
Put it behind a paywall.
But we put it in a very specific, right? We put all our porn behind a paywall because why would we let you get something that's awesome for free when we really just want you to self-identify and make us put you in a database like that? That bothers me too, for personal use reasons, as well as, again, just on a functional, like, what I thought this was a free country kind of shit. The porn ban in Tennessee drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous. So wait a minute. I have to register with the state, essentially, because there's only like 3 companies that you can register with for your proof of age.
I think you have to, like, take a picture of your license.
Right. And you got to send that in. So you're telling me that the porn companies are evil and you want me to give them data and not just random data, like real provable identity data, so that I can use their products? That's your solution to this mess? So, which, I mean, I guess it does work for some people because I'm not sending no porn site my ID.
I want to say when I initially got it, might have been on my original driver's license as well. I'm pretty sure it was on my permit. They had used to put your social security number on there.
Mm-hmm. All right, our student IDs did at UT.
Did they?
I think I finally I think I finally finished destroying mine. I had my one still in the truck forever. I had it just sitting in the little center console with the truck forever. Slowly deteriorating. I finally was trying to get some of the trash out of there, and like I picked it up and it broke again, and so I just finished breaking it up because it did still have my social on it.
Yeah.
But again, it's just like, it's just like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we talking about? Like, I understand the rhetorical reason for why we want to put some of this safeguard on porn in place in the state of Tennessee, but just on a fundamental level, it doesn't make any sense. And again, this might be me talking out of selfishness because I want my porn back, but realistically, it's just not. It just doesn't, like, this is not free country kind of shit. This is not how we're supposed to do things here. This isn't the way my country is supposed to operate, I thought. Obviously, I'm wrong about a lot of things about how my country's supposed to operate. Like, the whole, like, declare war thing has, like, I don't know, there's somebody that's supposed to be part of that process. Do you remember how the, like, declaring war works? Because we haven't done it in so long. It's understandable.
The executive can do it unilaterally for, like, 30 or 60 days without congressional approval. But I don't know, that may just be declared war. I mean, I think some of the administration is still calling this an excursion. I don't think they've necessarily called it a war.
And see, so and this is what happens, everybody.
They're just playing in the gray area.
This is what happens when lawyers run the world. You just make up a new word to define the things you're doing that isn't the word that's written into the law.
Right.
And then you can do it.
Not technically
right.
doing any war.
The Constitution says the president may not declare war without the consent of Congress.
It's like, all right,
well, I didn't declare war. No, I'm using the tanks and the bombers and the submarines that we use in war the way we use them in the war, but I'm using them for an excursion,
right,
or a police action, or what? Like when did the last time we actually declared? Like, was Iraq 2 a declared war? Was Iraq 1 a declared war?
I think that's when we just called it like War on Terror, which kind of gave us
Iraq 2 was War on Terror.
right.
I don't remember if Iraq 1 was declared or not. I don't think Korea was declared. Vietnam was not declared.
I think Korea was declared, but I don't think we officially signed any kind of peace treaty.
All right,
I
it's
think
never been undeclared.
Yeah, I think it's been like a ceasefire.
It's never ended. That's right.